Welcome back to Rad Rolls, where we are playing The Quiet Year. We are about to start our summer cards, and May will be doing the very first card from it. So go ahead, May. Tell us what's happening in the community that we're creating.
So this is a community that is it's done pretty well so far. People mostly seem to be getting along. My card says someone tries to take control of the community by force. Do they succeed? Why do they do this? Or the headstrong community member decides to put one of their ideas in motion and start a foolish project. I'm going to say that one of the community members decides that this is, in fact, the end times, and it's their job to usher this in. So they're going to start building a stairway to heaven. They start pulling materials off of lots of the empty houses that are built, the prefabs that there's nobody in there. They start pulling wooden planks and metal and nails and stuff out and start scavenging this stuff and put it in a big pile near the center of town. Not right at the center. They aren't allowed to start building right in the center of town, but it's a little off to the side. They start essentially building a giant upright spiral staircase, and they get a decent height. They get about 5 stories up before it starts getting rickety and they have to shore it up. When it hits about 11 stories, the whole thing literally comes down like a Jenga tower. And it ends up collapsing onto the head foreman, who is the guy who said that they needed to build a stairway to heaven. So now all the supplies are in a giant pile that used to be a giant spiral stairway to heaven in the middle of town.
So that's going to take 6 weeks to do.
Yep.
We already know the outcome of it, so I will add that to the...
It's doomed to start. None of these people are engineers.
Yeah.
But 6 weeks, yep. And they will pull all of these very otherwise useful supplies out of the houses that are not being used and put them in a pile and start using them to build this stairway.
Cool. All right. And now you've got an opportunity, I believe, to either... well, actually, before that, I believe that the...
some stuff's popping off.
Project to discover stuff from the true center community is done. Cody, you started that project. What's the outcome of that?
The outcome is that none from the expedition come back. However, around the same time that they have been expected, more people from said community have shown up, calling themselves the Husks. They have some of their gear looks suspiciously familiar, and they have started a camp near the salt flat.
Interesting. Wow. All right. So the school for witches is officially established, and they are going to only be known as... They've changed their names, actually. They've done like a name changing process to get their official witch names. So all of the girls that were named like, Sally or whatever are now Witch Glenumbra and so on and so forth, to designate their official witchhood. And they are now going about the community, establishing their domains over who they witch and which witch is which. So, May, you will now either discover something new, hold a discussion, or start a project.
I was thinking about what to do, but I think this being the beginning of summer, I'm going to discover something new. We're going to discover a large tour bus that rolls into town from the southeast. with a large contingent of beatniks on board, like a beatnik band and their groupies. All of them wearing berets that are at a rakish angle and wearing black and smoking like a ridiculous number of clove cigarettes. They literally have like a trailer that's nothing but clove cigarettes attached to the back. And apparently they were on tour when the bombs dropped and just have been looking for some place to go to their next gig that hasn't been destroyed. And this place was on their gig list, so they're here.
I like it. So feel free to draw the tour bus with a beret or something to denote
clove cigarettes.
Yes.
Yeah, I'm doing a beret. I'm doing a ridiculous red beret.
Sounds good.
Groovy, man.
All right, I am. I've drawn the card for Mike. Mike, you are now. It's now your turn.
Okay, so we have either a project finishes early, what led to its early completion, or the weather is nice and people can feel the potential all around them. Start a new project. What projects were in process as of right now?
The stairs.
The stairs, and then also we have longer term projects, the hole for the vault and the community garden that are kind of like prepped for something bigger.
Okay, to connect some dots here, we're going to go with the project finishes early and why. The next stage of the vault has finished early because of the repaired construction protectron. I can never say that word faster or fast. So the construction protectron helped make that phase of the building a vault project finish early.
Cool. So what was built?
So the pit was dug, correct? So
Yes.
maybe this was maybe the next phase of it was literally just putting in the framework for the vault door.
So the vault door is on, and behind it is just a pit, a cave, essentially.
A cave, yeah.
Yeah. I'd almost imagined like him working tirelessly through the night, just putting cinder block by cinder block. Just like a very menial task, but when you wake up the next day, like, holy crap. Like,
yeah.
All right. Let's see. Our projects are still going on. Mike, either discover something new, hold a discussion, or start a project.
Let's hold a discussion. I don't know how I feel about all these beatniks hitting our town. Should we send Officer Grifty to round up these beatniks and throw them in jail?
Cody, that's you may respond. You're currently on mute.
I think that we should form a militia to help protect the town, a formalized one.
I think that we should give them free houses because our hospitality has not been great of late, and we have been pretty off-putting, especially to the elderly citizens that we have both interrogated, but also maybe build a community guard for. I'm not sure. But we should give them houses.
why are you so worried about the outside threats? We have literal witches and a doomsday cult inside our walls.
May?
Yeah, I don't see a reason not to roust the beatniks, but we should probably consider that if we try and roust any of the other groups, the insider groups, there'll be repercussions. But the beatniks, like, they just got here. We can maybe just tell them to get back on their bus and leave.
And Mike, you started the question, so you may end with the statement.
Well, if they stay, we should make them live in the Miami neighborhood.
Oh, they will burst into flames.
All right. Cody, you are up next. You may read your card.
Okay. Project fails. Which one? Why? Or something goes foul and supplies are ruined. Add a new scarcity. All right. I got something interesting. Something goes foul and supplies are ruined. The cave system with the aquifer had been supplying lots of fresh water. However, it looks like somebody has poisoned that supply, and the water has become salinated and unable to be drank.
Uh-oh.
So now water is a problem.
Uh-oh. All right. Now you get to either once you draw, a poison or whatever at the water, however you want to poison your water supply, then you either do the 3 actions.
Okay. We're going to discover something new, and that is going to be that I accidentally closed that browser window. So give me 1 second while I get that back. But what we're going to discover is that the Husk settlement seems to be growing. There are more of them arriving. More of them arriving.
All right. Sounds good. All right. It's my turn, so I will draw a card. Someone new arrives. Who and why are they in distress? Or someone leaves the community. Who? What are they looking for? I'm going to say someone new arrives. Who and why are they in distress? So the person that arrives is someone new arrives. So from across pretty much corridor X comes a man, I would say, in a giant purple suit, and he is a chocolatier.
Oh, God.
And he is worldwide known for making the most famous Fallout chocolate bar. Why are they in distress? They were on their way to essentially build a store in this town and showcase it. But all of their crew, who was also very small, died in the atomic blast that hit outside of town, and so they have made it here and are seeking refuge. So they are alone. A wandering chocolatier is alone, and all of his friends are dead. So I will put Totally Not Willy Wonka on the map. I just really want Timothy Chalamet in my game, baby. Put the Chalamet in the game. Okay. It's going to be, be like a little top hat here with a little face on it. And then based on that, I'm actually going to start a project. They're going to start building a chocolate store in Miamiville. Because that's the most colorful place that could exist. And I'm going to say to get ingredient supplies, they're not worried about water right now because obviously everybody's worried about water. I'm going to say that this takes 5 weeks, I would say, to get it in place, to source ingredients, maybe to find some employees that are willing to make chocolate. Why does he want to make chocolate? Well, that's because that's all he does. But he's a chocolatier. And he is making chocolate in one of these houses up in Miami Town. So that is it for my turn. We'll move on to Jared's turn. I will draw your card for you and place it upon the map.
Excellent. This is the Ace of Diamonds. A contingent within the community demand to be heard. Who are they? What are they asking for? Or a contingent within the community have acted on their frustrations. What have they damaged and why did they damage it? Is it permanent? Ooh, this is a juicy one. I think there are okay. All right. So this recent witch coven has left the community devoid of a lot of eligible bachelorettes. And I think the similarly aged males in the community have found themselves involuntarily celibate, as it were. And it's they are emotionally immature and don't have a way to express these feelings, and because that's the way it was in the 40s and 50s. So I think that a lot of these folks have actually found random houses, maybe along Corridor X, and have turned to arson. So it probably started with some broken glass and probably escalated to a house being burned. I don't think it went too much further than that, but I think it's really gotten the attention of folks that, like, there's been a lot of catering to, like, the elderly and other population, everything like that. And I think that probably a lot of the folks that have been putting in a lot of the labor feel unappreciated. Like, you know, all this focus is put on everyone. So there's probably a lot of mental health issues going on here is what I'm trying to say. So I think these folks damaged it out of frustration because they really didn't have a good outlet to speak with anyone about, you know, what the issue was. But yeah, I would say one of the houses got burned down. I don't think it's going to ruin the abundance, but at the same time, I think it's going to put people on alert that, like, there's some dissension in the ranks. Okay. For what I would like to do is I would like to start a project. I think that the potable water situation is going to be problematic. And I think that a lot of folks have probably dealt with this before. We have a lot of elderly here that have probably dug wells, dealt with wells, and know that the number one cause of impotable water is probably salt. There's the salt flats, there's the salt mines, probably desalination is an issue. I think there are a contingency of folks that want to go to the old factory on the outskirts of town that was probably used for, like, smelting metal or something. There are machines there that can get really, really hot, and they want to repurpose these to desalinate the water. So create a boiling process to boil as much water as possible to collect and desalinate and stuff like that. It's on the outskirts. They're trying to get stuff working that hasn't worked for a while. Probably leveraging some of the older factory workers that may have worked there when it was open. I think this is probably, you want to go with 5 weeks? I feel like it's going to,
yeah,
because, like, to get the infrastructure and everything like that. So, yeah, I'm going to go with a 5-weeker right here. And I guess I need to draw a picture signifying a
burnt house.
Burnt house, yeah. So I'll work on that, but I'll consider that my turn.
All right, that sounds good. All right, May, I am going to draw your card, place it out here, and you may read the card.
Summer is a time for production and tending to the earth. Start a project related to food production. Or, summer is a time for conquest and a gathering of might. Start a project related to military readiness and conquest. Okay, so the community garden seems great. Fresh fruits and vegetables, all that, fantastic. We need some kind of staple food because we can't get by on a community garden green and coyotes. So she is going to gather the supplies necessary for and start a planting project, which will be six weeks probably, that it'll be a large scale production of sunflowers from seeds. Because sunflower seeds, you can use them for protein, you can use them for oil. Sunflowers are the national flower of Kansas. And basically, once you plant them, they'll grow pretty much anywhere except for the salt flat. So just a large ramped up production of like sunflowers for food, essentially.
Cool. So what did you say? 6 weeks for that?
I'm thinking it's going to be 6 weeks because you also want to be able to get the sunflowers to harvest and then gather all of the sunflower seeds for whatever you're going to use them for sunflower seed butter or oil or whatever.
All right. Sounds good. Now you can either discover something new, hold a discussion, or start a project. And don't forget to draw your sunflower when you have time.
Yeah. So I'll do the sunflower when I have a chance. Adjacent to that, to make sure that there's water for the sunflowers, I am aware of the consideration of using of creating a desalinization plant for the water. I'm going to start a project that a distance away, she's actually going to have them start digging a well. Another fun fact, Kansas is the state, the place in the world that has the deepest hand dug well for water in the world. So they're going to start digging out a well so that way they have water for the sunflowers and for the people.
Sure. I think that's a 6 week here too. So 6
That's
weeks.
definitely, they're parallel projects, basically. Yeah. But the sunflowers kind of just like spread out, like not figuratively, literally any place they can plant sunflower seeds, they do it. But the sunflowers that are getting watered and tended will obviously do a lot better.
Sure. I'm going to put your projects in the map if you'll put your sunflowers in the map.
I will do that. Cool.
What was it? Sunflowers and
sunflower. Well. It doesn't show up as well, but there's sunflowers there. That's a sunflower.
Put 2 6s near that. Oops.
Yeah. And then water well.
Cool. All right. Mike, I'm going to draw your card for you. You've got.
Here we go. Outsiders arrive in the area. Why are they a threat? How are they vulnerable? Or outsiders arrive in the area. How many? How are they greeted? That's a hard one because there's.
Yeah, there's a lot of outsiders coming here.
Yeah, we got a lot of outsiders coming in. So let's go with outsiders arrive in the area. How many? How are they greeted? Let's say American soldiers.
Ooh.
Let's say 6 American soldiers arrive along the road to nowhere, arrive in the city, and because they represent stability and order from the old world, they are greeted very warmly by the majority of the citizens, except for the Doomers, who don't like it very much.
Okay.
All right, so feel free to put some American soldiers in there.
So is that their affiliation? Like they are like U.S. military? It's not like Brotherhood or anything weird like that. It's just okay,
As
cool.
far
No,
as,
just
as far as we know,
regular old GIs.
Got it. Okay.
All right.
I guess BOS wouldn't exist this early on, so
Right. So let me get my lore glasses on, guys. But the Brotherhood of Steel starts before the bombs drop, actually.
okay. So there is BOS, but okay.
It's just for the people that are at the Mariposa facility in California. But then afterwards, in the Fallout 76 game, then like sometime afterwards, they start like calling up their old friends and are like, "Hey, you want to join my cool gang?" Anyways, Mike.
Okay.
Yes. Let's see. You can either discover something new, start a project, or a discussion.
Let's see. Okay. At this point, let's discover something new. What could we add to this world right now? Yeah, this gets harder as we go, huh?
Yeah.
Let's see. Let's go with the husks. We're gonna do some. The husks are digging a tunnel.
A lot of digging going on around here.
So much digging.
That's just
what I
damn
wanted.
prairie dogs.
Just what I wanted.
All right. So some digging is happening. It's good. Now it's Cody's turn.
Oh.
There you go. You've got a special card, Cody.
Special boy. Okay. Summer is fleeting. Discard the top 2 cards off the top of the deck and take 2 actions this week. Okay.
So you can take 2 actions and I'll discard the cards after you're done.
Yeah. All right. My first action is I want to start a project for the Doomers. There has been a large influx of outsiders coming to the town. There's been arson. There's a witch coven. They feel like things are getting out of control. And they're going to start taking a harder turn on things. So my project for them is for them to like formally start essentially a police force within the community to take better control over the situation. So I don't know. I feel like them organizing, they're already kind of organized. But in terms of like actionable items, let's say that their first project is to recruit the arson boys, and the recently arrived soldiers sort of into their ranks to be part of this.
I move for
force.
Arson Boys to be the official name.
Yeah, the Arson Boys division of the Doomers. I don't know. Maybe I don't know. 2 to 3 weeks to sort of get them minimal training.
Sure, yeah. the literal fire breathers at
Yeah.
this point.
My next yeah, all right, my next one. Let's see. I think we'll discover something new. And that will be that the beatniks have integrated themselves well into the community, and have taken up residence in the Miami housing zone.
Great. I will yes and you here because my project has completed at the chocolate factory that not Willy Wonka has made. And he has found new employ by employing predominantly beatniks to produce chocolate in his Miami neighborhood factory that he has now created. And he is
a new clove-based line.
Yes, a new clove-based line. They're calling it the Clover Bomb. Is the name of the. Nobody really understands, and frankly, people find it very disturbing. The other project that is complete is the stairs, I believe, the stairs to nowhere. May you kind of let everybody know the outcome of that it pretty much got built up and then crumbled, right?
So yeah, so they started it off. It started off as a nice wide base. They actually had like some people had some wood carvings going into the wood near the bottom. They basically pulled out and used every nail and screw they could as they needed them, and this thing would just spiral up. And they would shore it up as much as they could off of the lower portions, first off the ground and then off of lower portions of the spiral, off of the handrails. And they started to run out of wood that had the correct length and strength for a handrail. So they started to make it a spiral staircase without handrails, not OSHA compliant. And as it got higher, they realized too late that it was just not stable enough, and the whole thing did a Jenga topple, crushing the original foreman and all of the masterminds of this particular project, and leaving a giant pile of wood, nail, screws, a giant pile of copper pipes and aluminum that were pulled that were going to be used to pipe it for lighting so that they could have lights that would light the stairway to heaven. And everybody who was left alive after the project just kind of shrugged and went, well, that didn't work, and wandered off afterwards. Nobody wanted to take responsibility for it.
So feel free to draw the outcome of that on the map. And it is now my turn, and I will draw a card for myself. And I believe, I have drawn more stuff. We are out of summer, I believe. I'm going to check.
End of summer. That's a perfect time for a giant spiral staircase to heaven to collapse on itself. Never a better time.
8. I feel like I'm missing some.
It's 9. I'm seeing 9 on the.
Yeah.
Oh, we discarded 2.
No, I drew them and they're in that pile.
Oh.
Hang on.
All right, that's what's left of the stairway to heaven.
Those are.
Yeah.
I have autumn. I don't know how to give these back.
No, you're fine. I'm gonna.
Dave, if you look at the autumn deck, I think you can recall all of the cards.
Yeah, I am going to recall all of those.
So those should all be there, and then there should be
Where's summer?
4 more summer hanging out.
Yeah. I'm gonna do it kind of dealer's choice here.
Okay.
To make sure that we get everything here. So we've done 3, 6, 8, 6, 9. So we need 7.
Because I recall the two that got discarded. One was the elder dies, and the other was someone goes missing.
Yeah, it's like they're missing from. It's like they're missing from the game themselves. So let's see here. So 3, 6. Sorry. So it'll be 3, 4, 5, 6. Yeah, it'll be the 2, 7, 10, and I believe the queen. So 2, 7, 10 queen is what we're missing. I'll remember that. I will. We'll start with the queen because a project finishes early. Which one and why? Is what I have. I'm gonna show it to everyone. Here we go.
Yep.
Queen of Diamonds. Let's see. A project finishes early. I think the project for the militia has finished early because they have received more resources because they have brokered a deal with the chocolate maker. So tell me about this militia.
Yeah, so this militia has, I've given them some guns up by their doomer symbol there. Yeah, I feel like they got to cut their first order of business is going to be cracking down on the witch coven within the actual borders of the town. Now that the beatniks have sort of integrated, people are cooperating on the various like well and garden projects and things like that. But the witchcraft is getting out of hand, so that's going to be their first task is to get that under control.
Cool. All right. So we've moved our project clocks. We're good with that. So I'm going to discover something new. If you remember, before they had discovered that a vertibird was flying around the town, well, they have discovered that the vertibird is actually landing on the outskirts of town and is depositing people in long black robes and powdered white wigs. That is what has been discovered. Is the helicopter is depositing those folks. I'm going to draw that in, but before I start doing that, Jared, it is your turn. I'll show you your card.
All right. You discover a cache of supplies or resources, add a new abundance, or a scarcity has gone unaddressed for too long. Start a project that will alleviate that scarcity.
Cool card.
I think the scarcity that's gone unaddressed for too long is our hospitality. We have successfully integrated some of our some folks, the beatniks, the chocolatier, the people from the military. I think that this community is getting back to its roots, and we are getting near the end of summer. So I think the project that will alleviate the scarcity is going to be a big Labor Day extravaganza, and I want it to pop off at the end of summer. So that would be 2 weeks, right? So if we do 2 weeks, that should pop off on the last day of summer.
Yeah.
So yeah. So for our Labor Day extravaganza, because we've done it, we've incorporated all these people, and we want to be inclusive, and we're doing the work, and we need to officially say we're doing it. God damn it! So I'm going to put a white T-shirt, since this is going to be the last day we can wear it.
Yeah.
Okay. That's a white T-shirt. And I'm going to put, and I guess really that should have been a different timer on that. But I want this set to 2, so it pops off right at the end of summer. Now, the thing I want to do is I want to ask a community question. So I guess around this point, we'll do timers after, if that's okay. But I'm going to ask a community question. And I think that community question is, things have felt a little violent around here lately. There's these husks on the outskirt. We've got an armed militia now policing our streets. Is this really the direction we want to go?
All right, May, you may answer that question in 1 to 2 sentences. You're on mute right now.
Mute.
You're on mute, May.
Still on mute.
I, for one, am very concerned about what's going on with the husks. I don't trust them. I don't like where they came from. I don't like that our people disappeared and they showed up with their stuff. Honestly, I think they're a pretty big threat. But they're not the easiest threat to deal with. We might have to get people inside organized and all on the same team and all on the same page before we can go deal with them.
Mike?
I feel like it's that old saying, you've got a tiger by the ears, you don't like it, but you don't dare let it go. I don't know what the alternative is.
Okay.
At some point, we need to realize that we're on our own, and the only people that are going to protect us is ourselves.
The militants have been working with the beatniks and the chocolatier, and they're pretty weird. So I think that that's probably the solution. Everybody working together is getting in with the military. Jared?
I really hope that we can maintain a peaceful solution in spite of all the chaos around us. It's imperative we stick together. My waterworks project finished right here. So we can now desalinate water. Can we remove potable water as a scarcity now, or?
I believe so, yeah.
Okay.
Now that the well is dug.
Cool. Are there any other projects that popped off?
None right now.
We had a lot of long-term stuff going on, so
right. None right now. Next up is May. I'm going to give you your summer card here. If you'll get that for us, and you're on mute right now. Yeah, there you go.
That
should be
one that got discarded.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry.
Yeah.
I apologize.
Don't make me put a contempt token on this board.
Okay, so do I read it or is that not going to work?
No, I think this was one of the two that got discarded when Cody drew their.
Well, if it's still valid, I'll go with it because I got an idea.
Right, I'm going to say it's valid. We've got two more. Things.
I don't. Yeah, I agree. I don't think it really matters if you want to do it. Sounds fun.
Okay.
Do it.
The eldest among you dies. What causes the death? Or the eldest among you is very sick. Caring for them and searching for a cure requires the help of the entire community. Do not reduce project dice this week. So I am torn because I like the idea of someone being sick in this community with a lot of elders and it bringing the community together. But honestly, I'm going to roll the chaos die and say that the very oldest person in town, the guy who's famous for being 99 and 1 month away from being 100 years old, is walking along the beautiful rows of growing sunflowers. And he wanders into a patch of sunflowers that seem much greener and much taller and much bigger than all the others by quite a margin, and then never wanders out. And no one is 100% sure, but there's one sunflower that the next day is a couple inches taller than all the rest. And they come to realize that this particular patch of sunflowers is carnivorous, because they used all the sunflower seeds they could find in town, including some that had been irradiated as part of a science project at the local high school. And so these are carnivorous sunflowers. And they taste delicious.
Nice. All right. So we got the project die. I've got an idea for how to do that. So you either discover something new, hold a discussion, or start a project.
All right. I think the town's going to hold a discussion about these carnivorous sunflowers, because as it turns out, I mean, old Homer passing away like that, I mean, it's horrible. I mean, he was 1 month away from hitting 100 years old. It's a centennial. It's a big deal. But the other side of it is sure, the other sunflowers are doing fine, but these sunflowers that will eat, that will basically fertilize themselves, they're huge, and they make a huge number of seeds. You can use the seeds to make biodiesel, which the tractor people want to be able to power their tractors. I mean, you can use them for protein to feed all of the people in town. I mean, it's a bumper crop, and they don't seem to really have any problem dealing with environmental concerns. I mean, they pretty much take care of themselves as long as you let them. There's no birds in that field. We don't need scarecrows. There's no birds. There's no field mice. It's like everything around there is gone. And probably because they're eating them. But the sunflowers look great. We just have to be very careful when we harvest them that we move fast enough that they don't get a hold of any of our field workers.
All right, Mike, any comment on that?
Carnivorous sunflowers. That sounds like dark magic. It's probably those witches.
All right, Cody?
The arson boys are always willing to live up to their namesake if we need a permanent solution to these carnivorous sunflowers.
I think the sunflowers are haunted, much like our long-living, long-standing giant corn. Jared?
Homer would have wanted to go this way. I think we honor his life and continue to cultivate this new and admittedly very exciting crop.
All right,
Okay.
that's the discussion for that. Next up, we've got Mike. I'm going to show you this card. This is our last card for summer. The way it's going to happen is we are going to do this card. You're going to pick your 3 actions, and then we're going to roll our project dice, which is going to finish a few things. Jared, I've got a question for you, and that's where we'll end this one. So
Sure.
Let's go ahead with this card here.
Oh, I like this one. Okay, let's end summer on a high note. Introduce a mystery at the edge of the map, or an unattended situation becomes problematic and scary. What is it, and how does it go awry? I'm going to stay on the theme of the carnivorous sunflowers and say, we thought it would be fine, but no, the carnivorous sunflowers have gone on a rampage, and they are now devouring everything they can reach, growing to amazing lengths. And like the sunflowers are like appendages, and they're like reaching out and they're grabbing, and they are causing ultimate chaos within the community.
I love
Bet
it.
you're glad to have a militia now with a bunch of arsons.
Some
like it.
problems solve themselves.
All right. Now, either discover something new, start a project, or hold a discussion.
I am going to start a project. I'm going to put these army men to use. They are going to assume they maybe started this project before the Sunflower Rampage or right after it was taken care of. They are going to build like sandbag gun nests on the northwest edge of town, kind of facing the Husk camp. So they are defensive positions with machine guns in order to deal with the Husk problem if need be.
I feel like
But
that's
just
a good
like
1 week.
Right. Like sandbag bunkers, like 1 week.
Yeah. Feel free to do that. All right. So the sunflowers are continuing to eat people, but guess what? The sunflower growing has completed. So tell me about how that sunflower and the well have both completed, May. I believe that those were both your projects.
Yep. So the good news is with sunflowers is when they're done growing, they kind of just they're annuals, not perennials. They just kind of die, dry up, and the seeds go to seed. So even all the regular sunflowers, but even the rampaging sunflowers just kind of stop moving, dry up, and you have tons of sunflower seeds. Some of the sunflower seeds of the carnivorous plants do scatter. Most of them are picked up and processed, but there might be a couple wild seeds that escaped. The well itself is fine. It's the water is it's well water, so it's there's high mineral content, but salt is not a problem with that. It could probably it'd be really, really tasty. And if it gets polluted, you'd still have to process it a little bit to make it drinkable, but it is a source of potable water also. And some of those copper pipes that are left over that were never used in that stairway to heaven are used to create a water ladder situation to be able to keep the sunflower fields watered.
Okay. Jared, your Labor Day party is now going on. Tell me about this Labor Day party that's happening.
So I think the original community members have kind of headed this up. It seemed like the most natural. Like, some of the elders, what's left of them, rest in peace, Homer, have put this on, and a lot of folks, just like banners and decor, and with the recent chocolatier opening, they're kind of getting into it, and it's given some folks a reason to celebrate. And even the Witch Coven, now that it's becoming the like sort of the end of the summer solstice, and just all of these different factors coming into play, and everyone kind of has this investment in something that they may not have normally had. Just all these different reasons to get together, and everyone kind of comes together, integrating with one another and speaking with folks they may not normally. And I think there's just a general improvement in sense of community and peace, love, and understanding. And I think this is where, you finally start to see, folks sitting down with one another. And I think we can remove hospitality as a scarcity as a result of this. So we've removed that as one of these sour patches. Maybe even the gates have symbolically been thrown open as well to these communities as sort of a gesture of, the how we are a singular people.
All right. Here's a scenario I'll give you, though, to end it off with. At the end of this party, someone mysteriously dies in the party. Who was it, and what is the reaction?
Someone mysteriously dies.
Somebody chokes on a sunflower and fluffernutter sandwich.
It is mysterious in nature. Who was it? And what is the reaction?
I'm going to go with Timothy Chalamet, our Willy Wonka stand-in. I think that his work, his dream, has been completed. And perhaps the beatniks have been hearing little whisperings of, the Willy Wonka stand-in, like trying to teach people, all these secrets and tricks of the trade and stuff like that, and being very forthcoming with their knowledge and everything. And maybe this Willy Wonka character knew that their time was coming. And finally, they see this come to fruition, a community where their legacy is finally cemented, and they know that they can die happy. Regretfully, a lot of the other people probably see this as ill-portent, even though this should be a good day for everyone. So perhaps the Witch Coven sees this as sort of like an ill-portent, or everyone suspects foul play. Really, it's just kind of natural causes, and Willy Wonka has died in an actual, like, happy, fulfilled, self-actualized state. Yeah, it might cause some confusion later on, but I think that's where we go with that. He now has this branding, and the beatniks now carry on the legacy of this mysterious chocolatier.
He died so that his legend would live on.
Cool. I like it.